Flo, are you brave enough? Brave enough to be honest with myself in my world, brave enough to admit to be truthful, to be truth-filled. I feel truly lifted by this gift which gets me into conversations and debates which can flip my flip switch, got me twisted. Now I'm enlisted in a war of words, a battle of verbs and similes, a fight that takes flight inside of me until I become brave enough to choose silence, because it's irrelevant what my eloquence is designing. I'm finding me. I'm finding peace. And these thoughts keep standing up for themselves. Am I brave enough to lose control? Am I brave enough to ease my soul? Am I brave enough to let it flow? This vortex is open.
Soft spoken. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Apologies for quoting shady, but that's how I feel when I recite poetry. And my joints might be heavy from carrying a belly. Weight, as you can see, I carry plenty. Public speaking gives me anxiety, and that's why I feel so much envy when I see someone express so eloquently. Because I know I've got better bars than Lil Uzi Vert, but I struggle to externalize my inner introvert. And even in work presentations, I can't stop stuttering, and I have to raise my voice so I'm no longer just muttering, so I could be heard more than just a smattering. My God, it's so bloody frustrating. Because one-to-one I think I'm alright, but talk to a whole crowd and it's more fight or flight. And even right now I prefer to read from my phone so I can pretend that I'm all alone. Because when your thoughts are encaged, it's easy to become enraged. You talk and people become disengaged, to one day decide to get on a stage and say something that people can actually relate. And right now, I feel emancipated. Right now, I feel elated because I can talk to a whole crowd and no longer feel deflated. So to you sat at home, yeah, I'm talking to you. That was me listening to poetry for the last few years that sometimes brought me tears, sometimes made me laugh, but always left me in despair. If I had something to say, will people even want to hear? You see, I still hate public speaking, but for you, today, I'm confronting my biggest fear, soft spoken.
Intrigue, pissing in the wind. Intrigue. It's hard to gather momentum constantly, have to backtrack. There's no denying the facts. We're still oppressed because we're black. Turn the other cheek is how they prefer you react. Smile up in your face, submerge a knife in your back. Best to stay on ready, can't afford to relax. Everywhere you turn, there's a tariff or tax. Token gestures given to paper the cracks. Divide and rule, they hate to see us in packs. Only murder kush kings have to carry the flak. He resisted, wore a hoodie, churlish in their chat. The writings on the wall, still the thinking's abstract. From any injustice transpired, only calls to distract. Social media sets a precedent for trolls to barack. It's balls that they lack, fair face-to-face contact. Keyboard critics orchestrating attack. With calculated emotions, empathy we subtract. Observing times today and you could see the impact. Delivering half-truths, holding back the exact. Where reality TV is all one big act. We're overcrowded in prisons, man them in their compact. And white-collar crime can pass without detection. Large corporations tax avoid, get government protection, contributing mass donation when campaigning for election. Expectations on return when you make that cash injection. Manipulated minds choose from Europe's selection. Disassociate from Africa, predict a perilous projection. Despising your reflection, accustomed to rejection, where you're priced out of prayer if you ain't got preachers' money for collection. We behave like we have the answer before hearing the question. Never walked in a man's shoes yet, full of suggestion. Prejudge and presume without closer inspection. So many snowflake and sheep who I can't move with congestion. Many prepare to fail, so fail to prepare. Confusion in flux, many minds, so we're not thinking clear. Overpopulating padded prisons, it's like they're taking us in pairs. The realness of mental illness is moving fast through the gears. From the itch to make a move, Big Brother stops to stare. Stockholm Syndrome victims perform under the glare. An extortionate price to conform, it's best you beware. See, our position's not fair whenever races compare. Equal rights may be the narrative, the rhetoric's insincere. Sisters claiming to be feminists really irritates the air. Feminists were in on the heist, they just weren't happy with their share. Turning a blind eye to our injustices, they didn't seem to care. Plus, for their career to appear, many black jobs disappear. Slight majority vote want to view the EU from its rear, but the cabinet being broken, whoever joined still need repair. Theresa landed in dismay. Boris's treachery was then laid bare. He used her as a human shield, then rode in to receive fanfare. He played his chess move at checkers, got Cummins to pattern his career. You can tell he's lying because his mouth's moving. You can smell that bullshit in the air. Too many suffering inside the system, my heart be taking a strain. With man be splashing acid like it's some aqua sports game. This psychological warfare driving my peoples insane. Cultural identification headed deep down the drain. Currently our kids are kamikaze. We can't refrain from the cane. Girl Pekin ain't got no sense and yet she's giving out brain. Single mothers attain a penny. What's the capital gain? Can't escape, no escaping. These issues could be Brexit or Remain. And whose direction deserves the finger of blame? All I know is conscious people seem to think on the wane. I see my people do some shits logic just can't explain. Why the streets are decorated by adolescent bloodstain. Joint enterprise, the whole crew gets detained. Guilt by association, everyone's in the frame. Gunshots, stabbing plots, different day brings the same. Living in London, coming like some cowboy town, where police sirens wailing is a regular sound. Forsaken in the system, true my skin colour's brown. They got us killing one another in pursuit of the pound. While Lizzie sits nights with stolen jewels in the crown. And you wonder why it is my people walk with a frown? So many came up as youths without no daddies around. Went to school with their fears, teachers' words ain't profound. Yeah, we so brainwashed inside the West, look desperate chasing their dream. You'll find weak hearts elbow deep in a skin bleaching cream. Can hardly tell us apart. We move just like European. Stampeding for purchase, consumers to the extreme. Never fulfilled, the other side's grass looks more green. There's a rock and a hard place, we're in that space in between. Where it's normal for man them to wear skinny jeans. Seeking approval from others to provide self-esteem. To spend time without your phone, you'll need a course of morphine. Red light for Amber Rudd, hostile behaviour's obscene. Criminalise the Windrush children without misdemean. In a time where food banks redeem under this Tory regime. Red light for Amber Rudd, hostile behaviour's obscene. Criminalise the Windrush children without misdemean. In a time where food banks redeem under this Tory regime. With fire safety regulations, councils casually contravene. Ignore the residents' plights, ignore the residents' pleas. No essential works, just a preen. Cheap flammable cladding installed, may as well just pour gasoline. Rich locals dismiss the burning for the ethnic's cuisine. Council plus 40 fridge freezer equals death by machine. They left a murderous mess, no will or desire to clean. It's like their conscience had never been, it sick me to my intestine. Luckily a head full of steam, through tears that created a stream. Strength of community had to intervene, only sadly took a tragedy to witness such a scene. Our youths are almost extinct, barely even make it past teens. It's like a regular theme to hear a poor mother's screams, but I never stray from my team. No matter how they plot and they scheme, no matter how they plot and they scheme. Psychological warfare is used to corrupt our being. Intrigue. Pissing in the wind. You're gonna have to be a couple. Yeah.
Queen Jodie. Throat. There was once a lump in my throat. It was there for a long time, but I couldn't get it out. My mind was constantly on walkabout, just trying to figure out why the hell there was a lump in my throat. Could it be frustration? Maybe it's self-doubt. Maybe it's a frog. Did I just hear a croak? It's driving me crazy and it's making me choke. I tried to swallow, but it just refloat. I retch and I spit, but nothing comes out. Then it started to affect the way that I spoke. I walked around telling everyone my throat was broke. But I hadn't considered the thoughts that I'd invoked, nor the negative implications that I provoked. You see, I was just walking around with a lump in my throat. Until I found out that it wasn't just a physical lump in my throat. It was a manifestation of a personal drought. Dried, cracked and dying with no clear antidote. Because I had no vision to promote, as if I was sailing with no life coat. So I was too afraid to speak out, just in case I rocked the boat and then I fell out. So afraid of drowning, but still drowning in self-doubt. So fear, that's what this whole thing was about. And just like that, I figured it out. Then out of my own mouth, a spring of self-expression started to sprout. Unexplored thoughts and feelings started to spout. Voices of healing coursed throughout my body and its entire layout. My whisper turned into a shout, and as I spoke, I also wrote. And this is my story. This is my anecdote. There is no lump in my throat. I've retched and I retched and I finally spat it out. Queen Jodie.
RVJ wordplay. Peace, homegrown connection. Imagine leaving your home to go to a strange place with the aim of making that place your new home. Imagine going to a faraway place where the rules are different, but you adapt as best as you can to replicate your previous home. Imagine living somewhere for years and still feel like an invader each time you open up to contribute amongst your own. I've watched people go back to my place of birth and say the meanest things about the place that they are apparently from. Only there for a week or two, if that, and still have the nerve to say that people don't make them feel at home. Let me put this into context before I go on. You may have heard this conversation floating around, and have even been a part of the conversation, making it known to everyone exactly where you're from. But have you ever considered going back there to spend some time and appreciate your roots, to understand where they spring from, planting new seeds of prosperity and watering those potentials, sowing into investments and helping them come to fruition, ensuring tangible financial stability for future generations to build on, building societies with our generated collateral, us helping us, increasing the value of our respective nations. But instead of doing this, we end up beefing in a foreign land where the stakes are so high you can lose more than a winning hand, or be left with the memory of time wasted in the can, losing everything. Now you've got a one-way ticket to a permanent vacation, destined for a place that was never a part of your future plan, a place you had no interest in, a place your ancestors fought hard for so you could enjoy the freedoms of visiting. You see, we look for acceptance from the wrong people, and the truth is acceptance from our own is where true healing will begin. We've been triggered yet again when they try to tell us where we belong. My emotions spiraling out of control because all I saw was them pillaging our gardens and violating our Edens. And after all this external destruction, we still internally fight amongst ourselves, further dividing the unity which is our greatest weapon. Bickering amongst ourselves over things that aren't important, each with nothing to gain but each insisting on being ridiculously stubborn. Imagine going to live in a place you were told was much better than the place you're from, knowing that the place you call home is dying from within, suffering a self-inflicted death by its own hands. Consumed by self-hate, we project it through our actions, forcing it on everyone. We've become so comfortable with hating ourselves and our mirror image that we readily give off this hate to anyone that resembles our reflection. So given a chance to leave this all behind, I jumped on the Iron Bird and I flew to London, only to find that this sickness is even more rampant in a population much greater than the one where I'm from, with a larger population, tipping the scales towards cultural destruction. See, we've accepted defeat to the point where most of us aren't even fighting for a change anymore. We decided we've got 99 problems, so let us just leave this one at the door. Each generation expecting that the other will come up with a workable solution. But we all have to understand, we all have our parts to play, so keep running until your race is in a better position. We say we love our own, but do we really? Is my question. If we do, then breaking this toxic tradition of self-hate has to be priority number one, because even us associate negativity with being a black man or a black woman. And then wonder why when we mobilize, our voices may be loud, our actions deliberate, but we don't get the reaction change requires to be a permanently positive one. Yeah, I may get some fire for this, but that's all right, thanks to where I'm from. As long as when you send the fire my way, it sparks a difficult but honest conversations. RVJ.
Woodsy, this piece is called Emergence. I just want to live and laugh, paint pictures with my paragraphs, fit right in like camouflage, find me on the greener grass. No other side, I wonder why. I rewrite lines 100 times. I rewind time inside my mind to redefine my inner eye. I lost myself a while back. Funny now I smile at. A younger me, no dungarees, was hungry for lunch and treats. Now I want 100 trees, a bunch of seeds and space to breathe. A piece of peace inside of me, no BFG can read my dreams. We just hit the road, doll. It's getting kinda cold, doll. Warm up the mic, absorb the light, I'm born to fly, I'm airborne. This is not my final transformation, but a rare form. Phone's always on flight mode, I guess that's always their call. I'm missing and declining, yeah, the system's undermining all the poets and the wordsmiths. The herds ain't heard our verses, so rehearse the words and learn this term, our verbs and burn the worst bits. Burnt lips, verse this. My notebook's like a furnace, all the heat that I've been birthing. It's about time that I surface, catch a wave and then I'll surf it. I deserve it, I've been working on myself and how I'm feeling. Focusing my breathing. Coping, I've been dreaming, I've been searching for the reasons why my self-doubt's like a ceiling made of glass and my arms bleeding. See, my heart is on my sleeve, but you can't read the signs I'm feeling. I was healing like I wasn't sick. Always been an optimist. Yeah, been through a lot of shit. The truth is, if I'm honest, this is me. Just searching for the light. Flirting with a mic. Felt like I was drowning, now I'm sounding like I'm fine. Couldn't find myself for hours, going round inside my mind. Acceptance of reflection really mirrors with the times. In the eye of the beholder, I was shown that love is blind. It's alright to cry sometimes and show the world you're hurting. It's alright to hide sometimes and stay behind the curtains. Cause nobody is perfect, so do what you enjoy. I'm just trying to hear you now, smiling with your voice. Be expressive with your words, learning lessons from the noise. Instead of waiting for your turn, earn some blessings and rejoice. Cause this is what I live for. Poets puzzle people picking pieces from a jigsaw. I'm about to pitch my goals, I'm hoping for a big score. Find me in my happy place, I navigate through big storms. Brainstorming hurricanes, rain falling, I'ma take what is mine, and when I shine, I stay aligned and gravitate my greatness. I made this writing lyrics on a late shift, creating waves to make these wages, pave the way to play on stages. I got friends all on my playlist, making waves, I pray we make it. Be the change to make a statement, no more waiting. Saving all these words up on my iNotes, writing verses with my eyes closed. I know my flow's now worth some recognition. Isn't it ironic 2020 messed the vision? Yeah, I stopped and could have lost myself. My socials feel all distant, now it's different. Wishing on some stars so I can start to make a difference. Haven't made it far, but I know art can go the distance. Blisters on my fingers from the things that I've been printing. I've been overthinking thoughts, overthinking more. Now I'm sure this overthinking led to lingering on thoughts. Of course it's gonna happen. On course for applause and a tolerance and balance. Getting bored of games, I've been searching for the ladders. Getting bored of games, I've been searching for the ladders. Stay avoiding snakes, the fakes, and most rappers went from being overlooked to getting booked to new chapters. Never trusted actors or an agency. What's left of the matrix, they're all agents. See, and none of this exists. Or does it? You tell me. Peace out. Peace in. Woodsy.
Fisky, quilling time in quarantine. Zoom zone, zero zil, zip, zilch, zealous, zealots, zestless. Let's move on, Zed's dead. Zul, Zelda and Zorro yelling YOLO. Yesteryear's yawn yields, yearly yardsticks yo-yo. Yearsayers yakking, yucking, year-long yin-yang yodeling. X out, Xerox xenophobes. Words written while worlds wait in wings. Whispers on whims. Worries wretched wait wavers when worse smithery weaponised. Wolves watch while we war. Warriors warrant worth, but wraths weaken when will welcomes wonder. Victory's visible. Viewers versus vessels of virtual voyages unified under universal usernames. Understand, upgrades aren't of utmost urgency. Utopia utensils useless. Unsee ubiquity of the unsung. Trapped in technology, traipsing through theatres of therapy, taking temporary tenancy in terrible territory, time tastes tepid. Timid types type entangling with temperamental Twitter trolls. Tips turn to tolls, ticket outs touting toilet rolls. Tombs tied to thoughtless threads. Tonight's thoughts translate tomorrow's tongue. Temptation too much, tempers tear towards tornadoes of touch. Stop, stay still. Selfish sun searches systematically spread symptoms, severing sensible. Sense suffers, stupidity soars, silly sods. Stand in solidarity with submission, sincerity submerged in symbolism. Sadness simmers in solitude, soldiers singing songs of service. Surprise shouldn't surge when sobriety suffers. Staying safe sometimes seems sacrificial. Streets scattered with sweeping statements. Society silent, so search for storytellers, sages, songwriters, scholars, rappers, rhyming, riding rhythm rapids. Restless renegades receive restriction resulting in remorse. Recuperate, rest, reset, reconnect, recollect, reword, regret, reflect, resist, reject, repeat. A redefining reality retreat. Quarantine questions quietness, quilling quietly quadruples quality, query qualities qualified by quintessential quips. Cues for cravers became quests. Past proverbs prove, pandemic presidents persecute populations. Paper praise parallel parked, perhaps 1% of pencils perform. No prerequisite passport for passengers of passion. Phony powers policing poetry, piss off. Online open mics offer oneness, ornaments of obligation overwhelm. Obey a clock, omnipresent orchestras of opulence orchestrate objectives, offering nothing neurologically nutritious. Normalise never, new normal needed, negotiating never-ending Netflix nights. Nonsense nonchalant so, nostalgia necessary. Naturally numerous numbskulls natter nothing notable, nameless newsreaders narrated nightmares note. Materialism minus material means. Man-made madmen morph molehills into mountains. Meditate on melodies of mayhem. Miss my mates, missing lady love. Lockdown life, loneliness lingers, lacing lethargy, lamppost light and lost landscapes, legends look like liars, leaders lacking leadership, leading us, leaving us limited, like minds lessen. When lifelines levelled, I levitate levels, listen. Knock knock, knowledge knocking, kindred kinships kick kingdoms in knapsacks, kamikaze keyboard killers, karmic kidnappings, keeping juggernauts jelly-like, journalistic jibber-jabber, jeopardising judgment, jargon jotted in jaded journals, juries judging, juggling jawless janitors of junkyard justice. Just imagine idolising irrelevant icons, idols ignite idle ideals, immortal intellectuals illuminate imagination, introverted inmates imprisoned in ink, inching inwards and citing internal illustrations. Isolation is separable in I. Hashtag home life. Habits hibernate in habitual habitats. Hell has hostile hospitals. I hope heaven's hospitable. Goodbye groceries. Granary gladiators got greedy, grappling with granola gangsters. Global Groundhog Day. Government guidelines, ghost written by guilt. Gigabytes of goodwill gestures given, gunshots still go off. Gotta gain goals, gang, go get gone. Galaxies and gardens growing grassroots. Freedom forfeited for foreseeable future. Financial framework fucked. Frontline fighting fatal, functioning fallacies, face forever's fever, faceless fatalities, fictional figures forging fallout, free of us. Forests flourish, earth exhales, existing, exiting extinction, egos eclipsed, eulogies and epitaphs etched early, employee empathy extinct, economy over everyone expect expense, empty entries and dystopia diaries, docile demigods deteriorate, disciples disperse, days disappear, decisions draped in doubt, discarded dawns drown in darkness, debt doesn't die. Capitalism's crap, can't continue because Corona came calling, causing consumer collapse. Conspiracies completely cover clarity. The NHS became a charity. Cases climbing. Carefree's corpse calls us callous. Closed caskets. Caption this. Clapping carers cool, but Boris better bring bigger benefits. Biological battlegrounds. Breed burden. Bedroom bulletins. Bare blessings. Boudoir bars bought by Bexy Bex. Bandwidth breakdown, but breakdowns backdrop beautiful beginnings. Beyond beckons. Bogus boogeymen babbling in bubbly bloodbaths. Brainwashed by behest to behemoths. Before the aftermath of Adam's apple, an alcoholic architecture anchored in ancestral archetypes arrived alienated, alienation in an alien nation, avoiding abhorrent apparitions, applauding anguish of angels. Addiction amplified as adult addicts adapt and ache at altars of altered awake. Anxiety announces apology as arenas of analogies analysed. Above all, any answer's adequate. At the moment, absolutely anything's ample. If archangels ask about me, tell them I'm nice. I pay the admission price. ABC's assassinated twice. Welcome to the alphabet afterlife.
Natural right. What is freedom? What is freedom? Freedom is walking. Free to make the choice for me. To stroll, to run, to jog, to sprint. To sit in the shade of an old wise tree and watch the light drip through the leaves. That's freedom. Freedom is talking. Chains can be broken by the sound of a voice. Words can break patterns, bring peace out of noise. A voice can empower, bring strength to the weak. Our fundamental freedom is the freedom to speak. Freedom is thinking, open and free to question, draw conclusions and make links. Free to question what we're told, free to reject the propaganda we're sold. Free to make our choices, free to choose our path, free to connect with our spirits, free to dance and to sing and to laugh. Freedom to vote, freedom to choose. Freedom is something we're starting to lose. Freedom is ours. Freedom's our right. I won't give it up. Freedom's our fight. Natural.
Why, I got backache from travelling, with this straddling my abdomen, while I'm carrying a bag of sins to transcend good from bad things. I'm praying hard but stammering. My load is light, the darkness brings a heavy load. I'm managing to manage man while fathoming the famishing. The damage in, the damage is the damaged things, the damaged line, the damaged kings, the damaged land, the damaged kin. I searched ether. I scoured the cowards and chased creatures. I moved heaven and earth from beneath us to make space safer, main maze to maintain the mainframe so they stay away. They see no trails from new planes that sustain a path made to make change but not reach us. Because even those with the greatest knowledge can feel the greatest woes and not teach us. Because even those with the strongest strength can set intent but not breach us. So even those with a love so warm and our heart so pure cannot heat us. Then even those with a wrath of hate could try emulate but not beat us. I've seen pious men, I've seen teachers preach, thus prayer and speech does hold power enough to defeat, but take heed. You can't leave just to see. We cannot be the ones to reap seeds that form trees. We can just be, breathe, dig deep, be us. You got to see the light in the fixtures, the writing in scriptures. You have to mix up their mixtures just to size up their pictures as fictitious. I turned when it turned malicious. Villains so vividly vicious. Sometimes they lied so well, even I got suspicious. I got missions. I got insights, and now I got visions. I got my mind's eye to remind my decisions aren't even decisions. If we in existence are only persistent to our main resistance to living, I wonder how many clenched fists would give in if we gave in to giving. Task 1, hold meds, just listen. Task 2, know thyself through revision. Unlearn answers that you thought lay hidden just to conquer the power that lay waiting within. Then vibrate to that rhythm, align my division, accept my position, connect to the system. It's all introspection. It takes an intro to introvert, take intellect just to reassert your higher self so you can stay alert to a greater purpose and just feeling hurt so you can love again and not divert, just to carry out the Most High's work and stay winning. I understand answers are missing. I see flowers blooming forgiven. I see prayers that were already pre-written. I see blessings that were made and thanks was given. You see, I'm no heathen. You would gasp as you dwelled in the depths of the hells as you sweltered and swelled in the realms that I've been in. I said I'm no heathen. You would gasp as you dwelled in the depths of the hells as you sweltered and swelled in the realms that I've been in. I've read readings, been left for dead, I left dead, my left dead, I was bleeding. The less said is best said, I get vexed from the meaning. You can't fake faith or mistake the risks made and concede them. You can't see the army I'm leading, but stay close and one day you'll meet them. YA.
Greetings in the name of the ancestors we ascend to and from. I am Flow Poet Solomon the Wizard. I rediscover love between the fleeting beating of your heart. Rediscover this moment in our arc is land in a vast itineral ocean, floating on recurrent dreams and mysteries. We picture seas pockets of passion as victories, as we exist to be vessels of liberation. A declaration of the revolutionary that emancipation is waiting beyond the third. Observe through the door to the fourth, we purge, cleanse, extend our lens to the source, suspend the flaws we're caught in, divorcing confinement, consorting with the timeless essence of your highness, reminders that love has no bounds, confounds the most profound pernicious precepts of death. My soul leapt at the prospect of subverting the premise of those vows as aloud will resound that the end will be found in the plains of our ancestors. Scepters raised aloft and scimitar sheathed, our speech sanguine and steeped in the remedial entangling of fest and feast. Our chest a djembe that beats in rhythm with the pulsing of the green, our feet grasping our Elysian peace, bonding once more with the roots beneath, the breeze syncing our breath with the trees. Belief is only the beginning. With our flames singing the hallowed harmonies of our twinning, spinning double helix, the remixed genetic code from poetic prose to poetry. The potency of our healing, revealing past inhibitions, the sincerity of our contrition. Forgiveness is no easy burden to carry, but we are learning to marry discord with euphony, to communicate truthfully the lingering scars and webs from the past that cast heavy nets over heads, all necessarily shed between this life and the next. May we be blessed with peace. May we reap the fruits of our seeds and repeat this spiral of growth and freedom as we chose to be vessels of love and liberation, no matter the season. Thank you. Why?
Flow. The responsibility of responsibility. What a difference makes. The opportunity to take oneself seriously. I mean, seriously, freedom is discipline, and discipline is a responsibility, a choice to be as the Most High intended self to be, blessed belief, the relief of recognitions, realizing one's own condition, confession. My soul is power-filled, and power is a huge responsibility. A choice to not turn dreams into nightmares, the understanding of when, why, and where. Knowing the difference between trauma and despair is rare to seek the solution. It's care to keep the pollution of the mind down. Go green, as in go clean, as in open your third and fourth chakra. Open and let go. Open and let God be your answer. This vortex is closed.